Joining us, Fort William First Nations new chief and council were officially sworn in yesterday on top of Mount McKelvey.
Chief Michelle Solomon and the new band councillors say they're eager to get to work for the community. Jess Clement has the details.
I hereby affirm
that my decisions as a chief will accord with my first and primary duty.
The swearing-in ceremony took place on top of Mount McKelvey, where Fort William First Nations new chief Michelle Solomon and the new council took their oath of office to the community. Solomon, who was a longtime council member, edged out her win in the election by just 12 votes. She said having the swearing-in ceremony in front of the community was humbling.
It is exciting. I think it's just humbling to be able to come before the people and say thank you for supporting us in this election and for believing in us, in our abilities to lead this community in a good way. I think that we all come with some really special gifts and we all have a lot of amazing knowledge to bring. So I think that, this is a really amazing opportunity for us to do some great work for the people.
Solomon was joined by 12 other council members, including newcomer Brian Ludwigson. He says there's a lot of things council wants to accomplish in the next 4 years.
Within a 4-year term, there's a lot to do. There's a lot of things that the community wants to have done. So with some strategic planning, we're going to be all coming together as a council, and we're going to align all of our values, and we're going to execute them as we need to get them done.
Solomon says that council has already had its first meeting, where they outlined what they see as their priorities while in office.
We each have different priorities, and we'll be taking those things that we feel are important to the people and getting some feedback from them. So, this is really a dialogue. I certainly, having that opportunity to do some visioning and some planning for the community was one of my priorities, was certainly a priority for lots of the council members. And so I think that we're off to a really good start.
Jessica Clement, TBT News.
Cinema 5 Skate Park held a special event yesterday to honor the life of Riker McKelvey. The 10-year-old boy, described as having a vibrant spirit, tragically died while riding his bicycle last month. Riker's family, friends, and the community were brought together to remember him, share their favorite stories, and celebrate his life. The event gave attendees the opportunity to enjoy a day of free skateboarding, listen to live, uplifting music, and signed t-shirts that will be given to his family. Riker's mom, Jessica Moulogne, says he was an avid skateboarder and spent most of his spare time at the indoor skate park.
He's been skateboarding with his stepdad, Zach, for a long time, almost his whole life. And when this place opened, it was a great opportunity for him to come and skate together, and he loved it. He was here every single day, and from I think it was about 3 months, maybe 4, he had gone so far in what he had learned here, and the staff here is extremely supportive.
I don't know what words I could say that would give him justice, but he truly was courageous, the life of the party, if you will. Truly an inspiration and a remarkable young man.
In Riker's memory, Cinema 5 Skate Park has named its mini ramp after him, and his silhouette was painted on the wall by his mom and stepdad.
A trial date has now been set for a high-profile homicide case in Westfort 2 years ago. 33-year-old Dustin Moffett is charged with second-degree murder in the stabbing death of 16-year-old Cody Furioso. The fatal incident occurred on June 29, 2021, near the CN Rail underpass on South James Street. Police were told there was an altercation between an adult man and 2 male teenagers. Furioso died from his injuries, and the other victim, a 17-year-old, was treated for serious injuries and later released from hospital. Moffett was located in the area soon after and was eventually charged with second-degree murder and aggravated assault. A preliminary hearing was held this past November, and the judge ruled there was enough evidence to proceed to trial. Moffett was released on bail in March. His trial by judge alone will begin on December 18th and is scheduled to last 4 days.
3 Indigenous police services that serve 45 First Nations across Northern Ontario say they're at risk of shutting down due to a lack of funding. Now the 3 police chiefs, alongside the NDP, are demanding action from the Trudeau government. The Treaty 3 Police, Anishinaabe Police Service, and a police force on Manitoulin Island haven't received funding from Ottawa since March 31st. The negotiations with the federal government have come to a standstill, leaving the three services to rely solely on a line of credit. The Treaty 3 and APS police chiefs also spoke about the lack of communication from Ottawa, their impact on their communities if their services are disbanded, and perceived discrimination within the government's proposed deal.
We are calling on Canada to show us the plan. What is the plan that when our line of credit at Treaty 3, when the surpluses, the small surpluses that are left in the other two services, when it runs out and we turn off the lights, what is Canada's plan?
We need to realize that we are the experts when it comes to Indigenous policing, especially our people. The people trust us. And I encourage Public Safety Canada and the Government of Canada to start listening to us again. And until that happens, there will be no agreement.
The chiefs are frustrated and they hope the government will hear their calls to reopen negotiations. In the meantime, they'll continue to call for change, bringing the issue to federal court on Wednesday.
A 12-year-old in Fort Frances has been charged with some serious offenses. OPP say the youth, who can't be named, broke into a business in that community overnight to steal a firearm. Officers responded just before midnight last night. It's alleged that the youth pointed the weapon at the police. The accused is charged with break and enter with the intent to steal a firearm, pointing a firearm, assaulting a peace officer with a weapon, and mischief. They appeared in court today. Anyone with more information is asked to contact the OPP or Crime Stoppers.
The Thunder Bay Public Library unveiled its new revitalized Indigenous Knowledge Centre at the Waverley Hub today.
The project features custom-made furniture from Sheridan College students who drew inspiration from experiences with the local Indigenous community. Vasilos Bellos reports.
It's an exciting expansion at the Waverley Library.
Allows for more programming to take place, more author readings, and it can house a lot more people.
An event was held on Monday to unveil the Waverley branch's expanded Indigenous Knowledge Centre, with the new furniture additions a result of the hard work of Sheridan College students. The third-year furniture majors built a number of pieces for the centre, inspired by a 3-day trip to Thunder Bay in January where they had the opportunity to learn from the local Indigenous community. Nora Langle is one of the students and says those discussions helped shape the final products.
Drawing and writing stories and a lot of visual imagery floating around, and also a lot of education too. They were willing to share their knowledge with us, the participants, and it was just, I felt really grateful that with all that information, we were sort of able to bring these pieces together.
Clarissa Matasawagan was involved with the library's Indigenous Action Council and spent time with the students during their visit. Matasawagan believes the furniture is a reflection of that collaboration.
Created something really well, I'd say. Like, we put all our ideas together, and with some of us being Indigenous and the other people coming from Toronto, we made it all together and it worked well.
And for Indigenous Relationships Community Hub librarian Robin Medicine, the new Knowledge Centre is an important way to make everyone feel welcome.
They're going to see the river tables. That sort of sets the tone, similar to Brody. When you go in, you see the round table. It's colorful. It's, it's fluid. So when you come in, it sort of invites you into the space that is the Indigenous Knowledge Centre.
The revitalization of the Indigenous Knowledge Centre at Waverley certainly made an immediate impact on the overall feel at the branch. Officials say the next step is to add some art to give the space more color. Vasilios Bellos, TBT News.
Kenora MP Eric Melillo is calling on the federal government to rethink new air safety regulations that he says don't work for smaller airlines. The anti-fatigue regulations restrict the number of hours pilots can fly without having to rest.
It's really hindering the ability of people in our region to do their jobs, whether it's tourism, whether it's servicing First Nations. There's a lot of added costs, and of course, in the fire season as well, it brings an even greater concern to that because we need all hands on deck.
The new regulations came into effect in December for smaller aircraft. Malil says the impacts are being felt increasingly as the summer months bring more demand. He says the regulations don't take into account the unique realities of the North or the essential nature of air services here. He also criticizes Transport Canada, saying there has been a lack of communications with stakeholders, including pilots.
They just have questions about some of the clarity around these regulations and how it should impact them, what they should be doing, if there are some ways that there can be some flexibility there, and there hasn't been a lot of response from Transport Canada, it seems like, to anybody. So that's a huge concern for us.
Malilo echoes the concerns of the Coalition of Northern Air Services and Stakeholders, a national group that includes Anishinaabe-Aski Nation and the Northern Ontario Tourist Outfitters Association. They say the changes are adding strain at a time when small airlines are already struggling with a pilot shortage.
The William Street Bridge near Confederation College is currently closed to all traffic. The bridge is undergoing repairs this week. Work is being done on the underside of the bridge, causing William Street between Golf Links Road and Balmoral Street to be closed as crews complete the necessary repairs. During working hours, the section of the multi-use trail beneath the bridge will also be closed. There's no confirmed completion date, but the repairs are expected to last about 5 days. Motorists are asked to obey the construction signs and drive with caution through the area.
Good news for anyone taking Highway 11 across the north, as a new truck stop is being planned near Geraldton. Once finished, it will be the only such facility on the roughly 400-kilometer stretch between Nipigon and Hearst. The Magese Commercial Plaza will be located at the intersection of Highway 584, where it meets the soon-to-be redirected section of Highway 11, just outside Geraldton. It will feature a gas and EV charging station, a fast food restaurant, retail space, shower facilities, and a campground. First Nations-owned Menodamin Development LP is behind the project. They hope to begin construction this year and complete the work by the end of 2024. Indigenous Workforce Development Manager James Nord says the plaza will reflect Indigenous culture.
So we're planning to have it where it's going to be an eagle-shaped plaza, eagle-shaped. The building is going to be eagle-shaped, and we're going to have arts and crafts from the local 3 First Nations and beyond. So it will be a community-based business, and all the revenue will go back to the 3 First Nations, profit sharing with the 3 First Nations.
Menodamin Development is fully owned by the communities of Ginugaming, Araland, and AZA First Nations. In addition to serving the region and creating economic opportunity, they also hope the truck stop will help improve highway safety in the area.
A multicultural soiree was put on at Goods & Co. this weekend, showcasing different fashions, food, and entertainment from all over the globe. The event, titled Bateau, meaning people, was put on to help the community. More than 200 people came out to experience the cultural diversity of Thunder Bay's fashion scene. 8 local fashion houses were showcased at the event, which also featured a number of musical and dance performances, as well as foods from around the world. Organizer and owner of the African boutique, Lillian Brayland, says it's important to have events that celebrate different cultures.
I think it's very, very important to bring cultures together. When we get, for example, as an immigrant, when I get here, I would like to see other culture, enjoy other cultures, bring my own culture here, and yes, and people are embracing it, and I want to seize the opportunity to say thank you to everyone. Thank you for believing in my job. Thank you for believing in the African boutique, and thank you for making me feel at home here.
Brayland hopes to make Bateau an annual event.
June is Italian Heritage Month in Ontario, and to celebrate, the Italian Society of Port Arthur held a flag raising this morning at City Hall. The event was attended by Mayor Ken Boschkoff and Italian Canadians from all over the city to commemorate the achievements and contributions of the Italian community. The society was founded in 1929 with the focus of serving and bettering the community while proudly promoting Italian culture. Italian Society Culture spokesperson Matt Pescuzzo says Italians have played integral roles in shaping the cultural lives of Thunder Bay.
Even if you think about the city of Thunder Bay itself, there were lots of Italians that contributed to the social and the cultural and the political fabric of our city. And really, it's in great part to their work that we have the great city that we do today.
The Italians have had a lot of impact on Thunder Bay the immigration, the food, to keep our heritage alive, our traditions. And we're still trying to do that. All our festas that we do, we try to keep all our traditions alive. And I hope our kids and our grandkids will do the same.
The flag will fly at City Hall for the rest of the week.
Turning to weather now, Mitch, a nice seasonal day out there today.
A very beautiful day, especially coming off the weekend. Nice temperatures, and they are expected to last even longer with the temperatures all the way up to 22 for that high today. We did see some on and off clouds, but for the most part, plenty of sunshine seen in Thunder Bay. The wind not making too much of an impact from the southeast, only gusting up to 11 kilometers an hour. Now, as we head out west, just like we've been seeing the past couple of weeks, warmer temperatures as we head out to Kenora in the Dryden area, sitting around 25 with plenty of sunshine there. Not really seeing any clouds throughout the night either, and the same could be said farther northwest. Currently seeing some clouds in Red Lake and Sioux Lookout, also sitting around 25. Those are planning to clear out as we head into tonight. Now, as we head farther east, Armstrong fairly clear today at 25 with some clouds, but over in Greenstone, a little bit farther east, there is a system that's sticking around, especially in the far southeast part of the region that's bringing some rain. They saw some rain earlier today and expecting more rain heading into tonight, while farther in Sault Ste. Marie, they've been seeing rain for about 3 days as the system's kind of swirling in the area. More rain heading tonight with the temperature currently sitting at 10. As for Thunder Bay, it's going to be a pretty nice day tonight, or nice night tonight. It's going to be mainly clear skies, temperature only dropping to around 11. The wind is going to pick up from the northwest, gusting to a high of 28 kilometers an hour. And while there is a little bit of rain for the rest of the week, most of it's looking pretty nice, and I'll have those details in just a little bit.
Okay, thanks a lot, Mitch. Well, MPs were back in the House of Commons today for the first time since the abrupt resignation of David Johnston, the special rapporteur looking into foreign interference in the last 2 Canadian elections. We'll have all the details regarding what they talked about right after the break.
What we've witnessed in the last number of weeks has been vile, to be honest with you. And who would want the job?